What's going on YouTube? This is Arjoski. You're tuned to my channel. I was just watching a video from the weapons education on home invasion. Um, I want to start off by saying home invasions are really a big thing. Um, Here in my neighborhood, I live in the suburbs where houses are no more than 10 feet away from my house, left and right. I live in a cul-de-sac, so it's one way in, one way out. So, and it's a very good key thing. But some people who live in corner houses or houses with streets in front and behind their house, which they could hop the fence and get to another house into a street and run away. Home invasions were really pretty bad last year and this year in my neighborhood. I don't have my neighborhood um, magazine. Usually they do a little newsletter saying so and so incidences, but I would personally say that I knew that there were people going around knocking door to door, asking for a gentleman or a female that did not live there, and just to see if someone was home. And if no one answered, they would end up with their back door being kicked in because most of the time these guys are doing it in broad daylight, where everybody's at work. Um, they're out doing errands. Nobody's home. Typically early in the morning, between 10 and 12 in the afternoon. Usually nobody's home or at their homes. Excuse me, because everybody has a day job, or some or moms have to run errands. They got bills to pay. They got to go do this. They got to go pick up that and stuff like that. So I wanted to say what we did as a family. Um, we first, my brother first bought a dog, which is our female pit bull. Um, and after a while, my brother started noticing um, his friends. They had a conversation and encouraged my brother to buy his first handgun. He ended up purchasing a 45 ACP Taurus Millennium Pro, which he just changed for a Para 1911 style 45 ACP, which I really do like. I do like it more than the Taurus because that thing was like a 2x4 in your hand, almost similar or a little bit thicker than a Glock. But since then, I actually was informed because I do talk to a lot of people in my neighborhood. I'm very friendly with my neighbors. There was a time where my neighbor had his house broken into, and I encouraged him to buy a shotgun because he wasn't comfortable carrying a handgun, which is fine. A lot of people are like that, so I actually encouraged him to buy himself a Mossberg, something cheap from Academy, but also capable of defending his family and his home. So now we have a network system of communication with certain people in the neighborhoods. Like I know a guy in the far end in the back where he is at the back of the neighborhood where he saw me one day walking with my rifle. And yes, I do walk around in my neighborhood with my 22 rifle. I don't walk around the neighborhood patrolling. I walk through the neighborhood leading out to the private property where I have permission to go shoot at. Um, and the police officers here, we do have a relationship with them. They do know me, so I don't have that much of an issue with them. Usually, when I do have an issue, it gets resolved because it's usually a neighbor who's usually who's not preoccupied, but concerned about this gentleman walking down the street with the rifle, and it hasn't happened, but I'm pretty sure eventually the people actually got to know me, so they got comfortable knowing, oh, this guy's just, he's one of us. He's not here out to, harm anybody, but he's out actually here to defend us, and he's just out there going to have fun. He's just going out there to have practice, have fun, and whatnot. So I actually know a few people now who actually own firearms, and we have a central network system in the neighborhood. So to where if something is, if one side of the neighborhood has an incident where it's a broken house broken into, we are all informed. So we are all prepared for that type of situation. And but I wanted to say that now we have 3 pit bulls, and as a family, like I was saying before, as a family, we have a system where someone is always home, meaning me or my brother or my other brother. There are 3 of us, and I am the youngest at 24 years old, and only me and my older brother, not the oldest, but the one in the middle, are the only 2 gun owners in the family. Um, and with that being said, me and my brother have this system where if he's home, I'm able to leave the house comfortably, knowing that my house, my property, and my family is going to be protected. And he has it to where if he wants to go out, because I'm not going to tell him you can't go out because this is your home and stuff like that. I will stay home on the weekend, and he will go out, and I will stay home all day protecting the house with me and my 3 dogs, and vice versa. So we kind of like switch off on and off. He doesn't go out as much, so he usually is at home, but when he isn't at home, I'm staying home, because I feel like it's my duty and in my responsibility as a family member to protect what my brother owns, and also what my family's lives. So, with that being said, my neighbors also have my number, and I have their number. So if, so to say, if some stranger was at my neighbor's house, I could always call him and be like, "Do you recognize this car? If not, do you want me to call the police? If you don't know them, I can step outside the house, ask them, hey, who are you looking for? Do you know this person? There are no soliciting here. If you weren't invited, please call the person that you were trying to visit for permission before coming into our cul-de-sac, because I don't consider it my cul-de-sac. I consider it the neighbors. It's the community in the cul-de-sac, which is all my neighbors. To my left is a family that they know me as carrying a firearm, or watching me in my garage cleaning it. So they aren't too worried about me, because they know me on a personal level. As far as the people at the corner house at the end of our cul-de-sac don't know me too well, so I don't share too much with them, even though I should say hey, hello, be neighborly and stuff like that, and kind of not try to get them to think that I am actually trying to investigate them to see if they are a potential opportunity to have a gain from them, but share the actual gun community aspect and try to get people more aware and comfortable with the idea of owning a gun and protecting themselves and whatnot. So a lot of people like weapons education. Yeah, he does have a lot of overkill stuff, but let's just say that hey, maybe this person just only owns a Desert Eagle because he worked 6 months out of the year, and he was like, man, this is all the money I wanted, and all I want is a Desert Eagle, and that's all he has. Well, he's not gonna not defend his family without it. He's not gonna go pick up a kitchen knife knowing he has a 50 AE. So I hope a lot of people, they do come up with a system to where they're effective enough to have their home protected at all times. We don't have the money to be spending on ADT, home alarm security. We don't trust it because if we're not home, we don't trust the police. We trust in ourselves. really. So that's why we have the system where someone is always home. We've had incidences in the past where we weren't living at this house. We were living at the apartments, and we had our house broken into, and the cops didn't show up for another hour and a half. So even if they did, they would have gotten away with all our stuff, and all we would have gotten was "I'm sorry" from the police, and they probably would have never found them, as it happens multiple times. So now, when we did move to the house, we didn't sit down as a family and decided this is how we were gonna do it. It kind of just grew. We planted my brother's friends planted the seeds in him to buy a handgun, and I was always a gun fanatic since a young age. So I ended up buying my first handgun and rifle at the age of 21, and I bought my first handgun at the age of 22. Um, and I wanted this video to actually, hopefully encourage people to actually take measurements and take a shooting class, do those things and be aware that home invasions really do happen quite often. I'm not too sure how often it's happening now in our neighborhood, because there was an incident last year in July where I had gotten into a gunfight with another individual who wasn't a resident of our neighborhood, coming to look for trouble and stuff like that, and they eventually they got into the point where they threatened my life, and I ended up defending myself. After that, I'm not too sure how much it died down, but I'm pretty sure after that happened, people were really aware that people did own guns, homeowners did own guns, and people were willing to defend their property, their lives, and the lives of their loved ones. And so I hope you YouTubers do not think ill of me because of the image of who I am. I am Hispanic, but I am a very patriotic American. I do not think of myself as a Mexican American. I just think of myself as an American. My father is Caucasian. My mother is Latina, I guess you want to say. I think Latina is a broad word, but she is Hispanic. But she was born here in Texas. She is not from Mexico. Her parents are. So I am more of a fourth generation Texan. I do live in Texas. This is a very, very loving state. I have to say that there is nothing like Texas, but we do have bad people, just like anywhere else. So thanks for watching my video. Hopefully Weapons Education drops me a comment. I've subscribed to him as well as to many other influential people on YouTube, and hopefully y'all give me some advice as well. And this is a good learning experience, and I'm glad I could make this video.